All right. Good morning, Cortland. The Crown City. You already knew it was the Crown City? Do you know why it's the Crown City? You do? Well, there's really no point in having this program then. We came here to tell you why it's the Crown City. And you already know it. All right. Well, while we're here, we should do some other business then. Let me start by acknowledging some special guests. Senator James Seward is with us. Assemblywoman Barbara Lifton. City of Cortland Mayor Brian Tobin. Governor's Director of Policy John Majori. SUNY Cortland President Eric Bitterbaum. I saw your signs all over, by the way, coming here. They're everywhere. Tompkins Cortland Community College President Orinthia Montague. Cortland County District Attorney Patrick Perfetti. And once again, we're honored to be joined by Governor Andrew Cuomo. Under the governor's leadership, we are experiencing a true economic transformation all across the state. His vision for an inclusive, bottom-up, strategic, holistic approach to economic development is fueling the upstate economy. We're seeing the rewards of that approach in my hometown. I am your upstate cousin in beautiful Buffalo, New York. Thank you. That didn't think it had any future 7 years ago and is now on a remarkable comeback trail. And we're seeing that happen, and you know we're seeing that happen here in Cortland. The reason, in part, that it's happening is because we believe, and most importantly, the governor believes in you and believes in your vision for economic development and in your plan. And we have all read your plan, which was really so well done, holistic, and really incorporated so many important elements of revitalization. And we think about revitalization now as an important, incredibly important part of economic development, because we need to keep young people and attract young people. And jobs are important, but also placemaking is important, and having a cool downtown is important. And Cortland already has a cool downtown, but you have a lot of really interesting projects that will make it cooler and make it better. So there's a lot to build on here. Upstate lost too many young people for too long, and you're putting in place the right kinds of plans, transit-oriented development and complete streets and historic preservation, workforce development, adaptive reuse of your buildings. I know you're doing a study on streets and one-way traffic versus two-way traffic and streetscapes and all the many things, technology, incubators. You guys really have it all here. The arts, buildings like this. It's a really wonderful, beautiful, small city. And what the governor's done in his approach to economic development is he's taken everyone kind of off of the sidelines, viewing economic development and community development as sort of a spectator sport, and he's empowered everyone to get into the game and make it happen. And in so doing, he's taken a lot of the authority actually away from Albany, where too few people were making too many decisions, and he's distributed it to all of you to create a plan for your future. And it's fabulous to have a governor who believes in your future and who believes in you, and that's really the biggest difference. There are some businesses here who have done great lately. Cortland Plastics is expanding. Crescent Commons, a great mixed-use project, just broke ground a few weeks ago. You're all familiar, of course, with McNeil Insurance, creating an office campus downtown. Genlor Energy, another example of growth. You have art projects, you've got food markets, again, historic preservation, complete streets. You run the whole gamut, and your plan will keep more young people, and it'll attract more young people back, which is really so important. So with that, I want to say great job to all of you, and I want to welcome the person who has had more confidence in Cortland and in upstate New York and has given more time, attention, and money. I'm not saying there's any money associated with today, but you have an amazing champion, the best friend that Cortland and upstate New York has ever had, Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be back in Cortland. Beautiful day, beautiful place. First to Mr. Howard Zemsky. As he said, he's your upstate cousin. He is the gentleman who authored the plan that really turned around Buffalo. Buffalo was the toughest economy in upstate New York when we started, and had been for decades. In Buffalo, somebody said to me once, you know, when it comes to the economy, we had a bad 50 years. I thought he was kidding. He wasn't kidding. It was a bad 50 years in Buffalo. But Howard came up with a strategy and a plan just as a private businessman, and we implemented that plan, and Buffalo has done a 180-degree turn, and then he agreed to become head of economic development all across the state of New York, and he's done a great job. Let's give him a round of applause, Howard Zemsky. And Mayor Tobin, who's doing a great job. Let's give him a round of applause. And my colleagues from Albany, Senator Seward and Assembly Member Lifton, you're doing great partners together. You know, when we talk about economic transformation, that's the exact right term. The upstate economy has suffered for years. Some places a little better, some places a little worse, but the upstate economy has suffered. There's no doubt about that. And we never really admitted the problem that directly, and we never really focused on it that directly. But I believe you never solve a problem that you're unwilling to admit, right? It's true in life, it's true as a society. Confront the issue and then you can solve it. Denial is not a life strategy. So we said 6 years ago, we understand the problem of the upstate economy and we're going to address it directly. Yes, there was an economic transition that just was the way the economic cycle turned, and upstate New York was basically a manufacturing economy. Buffalo made steel, that's what they did, and then steel was gone. Rochester had Kodak, and then Kodak was gone. Cortland, you had Wick Wire, you had Smith Corona, you had Brockway Trucks, and then that was gone. And the question became, well, what's next? What's the economic engine of the future? And that's where we fell down as a state. We didn't make that transition to the new economy. And we came up with a plan and a strategy, and we've been implementing the strategy, and it works. First, we had a lot of work to do on the state level, which had nothing to do with any region upstate. First issue was we had to address taxes in the state of New York. Why? Because you can't keep raising taxes and expect businesses are going to stay. It's math. And businesses are not cemented into the foundation the way they used to be. You know, the old economy had a big factory, it was cemented, it was there. Even if the person wanted to leave, they couldn't. You had them by the foundation, so to speak. Today's businesses are different. They pick up their laptop, they leave. So we had to get state taxes down. We had to get state spending under control. The state was spending more money for years than the people of the state were making. Just think about that for a second. How can you spend more money than your people are making? I don't know, but the state figured out how to do that. We brought state spending down to an historic low. We cut taxes all across the board. And we reached out to business and we said, we are the pro-business state. We're the business-friendly state. You want to do business, you come here to New York and we'll figure out how to do it. That was the first step. The second step was we had to dedicate the resources to upstate New York. The way the state legislature works, the vast majority of the state legislature is from downstate, just by a matter of population. And then the way human nature works is legislators like to deliver for their own district, right? Senator Seward loves the Bronx, and he loves Brooklyn, and he loves Nassau. But I've never heard Senator Seward mention Nassau, Brooklyn, or the Bronx when I talk to him. Legislators want to bring home to their own district. You had a state legislature that was predominantly from downstate. Downstate was getting the predominance of the resources. So we had to reorient the state government and say, look, we shouldn't be investing just because that's where a majority of the legislature lives. We should be investing in where the need exists. And the need exists in upstate New York. And I'm so proud to be able to say my administration has invested more in upstate New York than any administration in the history of the state of New York, over $36 billion. Third step was you have to update your infrastructure, because if businesses are going to come, they want to be able to get in, they want to be able to get out. That's why we're rebuilding the Syracuse airport, the Rochester airport, the Plattsburgh airport, because we want to have that infrastructure that makes us competitive. Next step was we had to change our thinking in our institutions of higher learning. Why? Because if you look at the new economy, what they call the innovation economy, what places are doing well? Silicon Valley. Why? Because Silicon Valley had Stanford University. And Stanford University was creating a lot of ideas, and the ideas would come out of Stanford, they would generate a seed, and the seed would fall to the ground, and that would become now a new business. And that business would then grow. That was Silicon Valley. They were there because of the ideas coming out of Stanford. Boston did very well in the new economy transition. Why? They had MIT. And MIT was very good at generating these ideas, and then they became companies. Why not New York? Nobody has institutions of higher learning that are better than ours, but we didn't have this orientation of what they call tech transfer. We had great schools, but they didn't do what Stanford did and MIT did. They didn't have a connection where those ideas then became businesses. So we started with SUNY, and we reoriented our thinking. So when we come up with those new ideas, they become businesses and they stay here. You want to hear a frightening statistic? We had new business starts. They would come out of the school, I have a great idea, I'm going to start a business on this great idea. We would lose 75% in the first year. Why? Because we weren't there to cultivate them. We didn't nurture them. And they were stolen by other states. Not that I would say a governor is a thief, but that's how it felt. They were stealing our ideas. So we changed that orientation. And now we attract entrepreneurs here. You have the Genius Awards. ESD, it's not for me. I made them my last call. ESD has the 43 North competition in Buffalo. We have the 76 West. which is a national competition where we say to all startup businesses all across the country, all entrepreneurs, come here, present your idea. We'll give the best ideas a grant, and part of the grant is you have to stay in New York. So now we have companies, all the startups from all across the country coming here to compete and win a grant and stay. And then, now that the seed starts to germinate, then ESD says, we'll give you a permanent home, we'll invest with you, let's take it to a permanent building, et cetera. And that's the strategy that's working. There's one other level, which is we're doing all of this on the state side, but it has to work on both levels. You have to have a top-down and you have to have a bottom-up. We can do a lot from the state level, but then Cortland has to do its part. Why? Because you know the community, you know your assets, you know how to put them together. We have a tech triangle. We have Syracuse, we have Binghamton, we have Cortland. How do we use those academic institutions to generate energy? We have I-81. It's right here. People are coming off. How do we get the traffic from I-81 downtown? We have beautiful historic architecture. We didn't make that mistake of urban revitalization where we knocked everything down. How do we develop that? And then smart growth, downtown revitalization, which is very big, especially for your community. You know, millennials are different than past generations. They don't want to move out to the suburbs and have a house and a patio and a barbecue. They like the downtown areas. They like the vibrancy. They like the walkable communities. So how do you revitalize that downtown? So state did what it had to do, and then local communities, you put the pieces together, design your own economic strategy, and it fits together. That's the plan. How do we get the downtown areas to get energized to come up with their initiatives? We'll have a competition was the idea. It was Howard's idea. And we will offer $100 million, $10 million for each winner for the best downtown ideas. I said, when I heard it, I said, that's a brilliant idea, Howard. I said, how many applications do you think we'll get for the 10 winners? He said, we will get 20 to 22. It was so specific that I assumed he knew what he was talking about, right? He didn't say like 10 to 40. It was 20 to 22. And he's a businessman, so I said, great, that's great. 20 to 22, 10 winners. That sounds about fair. We didn't get 20 to 22 applications. We got 104 applications, okay? So now we had to go to Plan B because 104 applications for 10 spots didn't work. Competition was too ferocious. And these were all good plans. You could have awarded all 104 first place. I believe in the competition because I believe it gets your juices flowing, you know? And it's one thing for the mayor to put together a group to send in a grant. It's another thing when the mayor says, you know, we're competing against 22 other localities, so we really have to do a good job. 104 applications. Plan B was, this is what we'll do. First prize is 10 million, but we'll have a second prize, which is 8 million. Third prize, which is 6 million. Fourth prize, which is a set of steak knives, which you really don't want to win. Now, normally everybody says, well, I want to win first prize, and that's natural. But second place $8 million is a lot of money. $6 million is a lot of money, right? So this is not an absolute business. This is not you win or you lose, right? There's first, second, third. They are all, out of 104, these are all honorable achievements that should be applauded. It's not like my business where if you're not first, you're last, right? So second, $8 million is a very big award, and third, $6 million is a very big award. So just I want you to appreciate that and calculate that. And of the award, let me open the envelope, because I don't know, because Howard did it. I am pleased to announce that Cortland is a first-place winner and gets $10 million. Congratulations.
Outstanding. What a way to kick off Pumpkin Fest weekend. And I promise, Governor, we will not spend it this weekend, at least not all of it. But I'd like to welcome Governor Cuomo, our other state dignitaries. It's a great day for Cortland, and we're not just talking about the city. This is a great day for our county, for our entire region. I would also like to thank the governor for his commitment to locally driven economic development, including the Regional Economic Development Councils and the Downtown Revitalization Initiative. I've had the opportunity to see the process firsthand, being a member of the Regional Economic Development Council. And I can tell you, the system works. So we'll take projects and we go up and we'll have meetings with representatives from the other 4 counties in our region. And we're putting forward good projects. And we get to see some of the projects from other counties, other municipalities. So it is a little bit of a competition. But more importantly, we have a great collaboration with the other people from the other counties. This is an innovative and a creative way to get us to work together. And in Central New York, it is working, and it is working well. The City of Cortland, we were very excited for our second round application. We had a great team last year, and we had another outstanding team this year. So to help us with this, I tried to make sure that we had representatives that were very diverse in terms of their background and their experience. We put together a vision of what downtown can be. We even had faculty and staff from Tompkins, Cortland County Community Colleges come over and help put together a video that helps promote what we are looking to do. Volunteered to do it just because part of the community, they wanted to help us contribute. Now, with this award, we can make a vision reality. Why is downtown important? Downtown is not just the heart of the city, it can be the heart of our entire community. We need gathering places where we can get together, socialize with one another, and be neighbors. It's walkable from any place within the city, and we want a downtown that applies to everyone. That's why we put so much time and effort into our planning and into the process. Now we want to help guide developers, guide property owners in the right direction for us to continue our growth. We have seen and we are seeing development already, but our efforts, combined with this DRI award, have placed Cortland on the verge of greater success. And we recognize this award as a step, a giant step, but it is one step. And we're going to continue to take these steps to improve our community. One thing that we all have in common here in Cortland is the willingness to roll up our sleeves, and regardless of the size of the task or the length of time it might take it to accomplish, we will get it done. That is who we are. That is what we do. So today, the DRI Award will help us achieve lasting, measurable impacts in our downtown, the city, and our entire region. So it is my honor to accept this award on behalf of the City of Cortland, and I'd like to once again thank everybody who made this day possible, including the Regional Economic Development Council and all of you, everybody here in Cortland, who always work to ensure that Cortland will continue to be a great place to call home. We have outstanding, great leadership within our community, business owners, our educational institutions, people who care about their neighbors. And I'd also like to recognize the tremendous leadership that we see at the state level. So once again, thank you, Governor Cuomo. Thank you for your support and recognition of what we are doing locally and your willingness to empower us to help us get the job done. And with all of our efforts and the support from the state level, we're going to keep Central New York rising. Thank you, Governor. There is, I hate to interrupt, but we do have one more thing. Governor, you do have something for us? That's not going to fit in my wallet.